We are this close to doing a live stream now.
Every week you're going on and on about live streaming. You're making these broad, baseless assumptions that these filthy, unwashed masses that tune into us every week will get off their filthy, unwashed butts, park their asses in front of a live stream, hang around in an IRC channel, and listen to us blather on for hours and hours and hours.
Jordan?
What?
We're streaming live right now.
So you're just telling me that they heard every single word I just said?
Yeah. Coming up on this Linux Gamecast Weekly. Steam for everyone. Phoronix is up for sale. THQ goes tits up. And we break down the Humble Indie Bundle 7. Let's go. And welcome back to another Linux Gamecast Weekly, the show that covers Linux gaming news, reviews. We're getting to the interviews part, and this is our first time live streaming, but we're going to be talking about that later. But more importantly, the main content is whatever the hell we come up with. I'm Vince Stone, and joining me, as always, this fine young cannibal right here, Mr. Svang. How's it going, man?
Ben, you drive me crazy. Ooh, ooh, like no one else.
Like no one else, so he claims. So, what's been going on?
Absolutely nothing, aside from the fact that I have gracefully passed into the realm of the unemployed temporarily.
Now that sounds...
So it's been a very dull week trying to not spend any money. And then the Steam holiday sale happened.
Yeah, that was kind of cruel to have a Steam holiday sale at Xmas, you know, with Santa Claus coming around.
With Santa Claus and his sleigh pulled by slaves. Not reindeer, slaves.
He said that, not me. Keep in mind, he is at the Burning Fool on Twitters and plus Jordan.
Send your hate mail my way.
He looks forward to them. No, man, I want to get right into... You know, last week we mentioned we needed a new power supply to do the live streaming, which we're doing right now. Hello, everyone who's not in the chat room. But the reason we kind of did the live stream, you know, Christmas Eve is we fully expect it to go horribly and crash, and it hasn't yet. But if you're there, scream at us. But I want to mention, for that live stream, I did pick up this OCZ 600 Mod Extreme Pro. And it has been working swimmingly.
Swimmingly?
Yeah, swimmingly, man. It is stupid. It's annoyingly quiet. Not...
Well, that's good.
Completely...
I recently migrated everything from my work server to my home server, and I actually finally got it out of my room, so I can appreciate lack of noise and computers.
Well, I think when I say annoyingly quiet, it's not completely silent. It's quiet enough to where you know something is amiss, but you can't make out what it is until you focus on it. You've ever had a device like that?
To be honest, I get so used to like white noise that it just doesn't affect me. It actually, like when my computer shuts down during like the night for whatever reason, like maybe it's a power outage, I wake up and I notice it because there is a lack of ambient noise. So,
well, I always need the distractor. I always need background. But compared to my last, you know, OEM, just generic power supply with a fan in the back, this thing's fantastic. Under load, trust me, we've tested it out the past week. When you've watched the LGC,
trying to stream,
yeah, from the LGC players, that was kind of fun. We had did you have any fun doing that? I enjoyed it.
Man, I was not in a good state to be playing Trine. Also, playing it in windowed mode and like waving your mouse around trying to direct blocks and pipes is not the most fun thing to try and do.
Why in the world were you playing it in windowed mode?
Because I'm not using the fancy new NVIDIA drivers that better enable full screen.
Well, I wasn't playing it in windowed mode, but we did have a fun time. A couple of comments on that.
We did.
Yes,
we
we
kill this.
bickered like a married couple, but that's what we do every week. So what's...
Yeah, this is any partnership.
Yeah.
Like I actually find it quite amazing that we are not more hostile to each other. Like Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman like apparently hate each other.
Really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, Adam Savage was talking about that in an interview. He was like, "Yeah, you know, we really don't like talk to each other outside of the show." And he's like, that doesn't really concern me as much, because if you think about it, like every single famous duo freaking hated each other because they're opposite, and the opposition allows for good creative input and good material.
Well, we did our best at teamwork, I guess.
We tried.
We tried as hard as we could.
But anyways,
yeah,
we should tell them about how to fund this now live little endeavor of ours.
This endeavor is brought to you live basically by you guys, man. LinuxGameCast.com/podcast is the place to find all this fun stuff. Now, if you're watching live, I haven't put up the live link since this is our first test, but you'll be able to find that at /live later. But this is where you can grab everything. You can grab the show on iTunes, any other podcatcher like that, video SD, HD audio. But here's some of the neat bits, man. They can find us through Amazon, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Through the Amazon link, you can click on our affiliate link, which is #1, shop through that, clear your cookies, buy something fun from that. If you're an IT or if you're a purchaser, set that as a link. We'll get a few shackles. But you can also send us a few quid over PayPal, one-time donation, and we still got to thank the memorial microphone that
yes, the
Thomas Brown,
the T Brown memorial microphone.
Yeah, and that's what Jordan's using, and that was thanks to you guys. That really cleared up a lot of our audio issues. Or if you subscribe for about $3.50 a month, unlike Sea Monsters. $3.50. Oh,
we assure you that we are not the Loch Ness Monster. For you see, the Loch Ness Monster only has one head, and we are two distinct people.
Mostly.
Well, there was that one time I gave you like my kidney and my lung and another couple internal organs, but that's a different story for another time.
Yeah, let's just not get into that. They were flammable though. Or you can also do a $3.50 a month or $10 a month recurring subscription. Now, what do you get from that? And we've been braining on that just a little bit. You're probably going to get some of our after show and early access to the podcast when it comes out initially, probably a day before anyone else was still thinking about that. Go ahead and subscribe. Yeah, because you'll get it instead of jumping in later. Then you can say you were the first. Or more likely, you'll be like, why did I do that for this failed experiment that no longer takes place a year from now?
Why did I do that? Yeah. It's bad news. But
there's one thing.
There's other news we can talk about.
Well, there's only one type of news we talk about at the opening of this show.
And that is, are you ready for it, Ben? Are you ready for it?
Are you ready?
In the live stream?
Are you ready for this?
Are you ready for it?
Go for it.
Steam Linux update
of the week. Yeah. No, man, we do have big announcement from the steamcommunity.com. This is in the forums, Linux beta access, I believe.
Yeah, but I assume if you've been watching the show for any amount of time, you're probably quite aware of this.
Yeah,
that Steam's gone into open beta.
It's almost anticlimactic, but you never got in on the close.
I never got in, and that never stopped me. It was
like from day one. I think everyone
the icon setting in a la carte to just have the Steam icon that shows up on your desktop. You just change that to point it at like Steam : open friends or games or whatever the hell you want. Yeah, and that bypasses the beta lockout. Like this transition has been completely seamless for me.
Yeah, there was no issue, but this is really gearing it down to people who were terrified of having their accounts banned for some reason, even though Steven said we'll never do that, or just were thick. But here we go.
Indeed.
A couple of things with this. In order to participate in the beta, you must download the latest Steam client, which they give you a link for that, and this will be a link in our show notes. Kind of some fun news. Valve will track Steam for Linux client bugs using GitHub. So I guess that's good on them.
That's good. It's a pretty solid ticketing system.
Yeah, and they've switched over the Steam installer. It's got its own package repository from now, so
yep,
neat.
Indeed.
That's pretty cool for those of you who've been waiting, and I don't think anybody who listens to this show would be waiting. You're probably going
We've discussed several methods of bypassing the beta lockout, so I mean, and by several I mean the one.
Yeah, and like listed them out and different distributions and all that fun stuff. But moving on, man, moving on.
Moving on, now that you can get into your beta, how about giving Valve some money for that?
They got a winter sale.
They got a winter sale. And like every winter, my wallet gets ravaged and raided and pillaged by the good gentlemen at Valve.
And look at
their
all
ridiculously
these
good
games,
deals.
Man. I mean, from 75 to 50% off. We have our specials listed here on the right-hand side. And now that you're in the beta, you can do this directly from your client. Or you can just go to store.steampower.com and hit Linux. But we have Killing Floor, we have Serious Sam 3, World of Goo, Amnesia, Dungeons of Dreadmore, Uplink. What was that?
FTL, I was going to say, is on that list. FTL is the one I'm waiting to go to like 50% off, because that's going to happen.
I've never... Well, no, I think they sent me a copy of FTL, but I never got into it.
It's like a sci-fi roguelike where you're on a ship, and you have to manage the ship, and that's basically it. And the goal is to survive. Like, you've played Rogue.
Yeah.
You played NetHack. You know exactly what it is.
So that's all there is. Well, I guess
that's all there is. But from all accounts, it's a pretty fun game, and I'm gonna get my mitts on it once it gets cheap.
But definitely check that out. Like Jordan said, it's pretty bad timing for anyone trying to save money because we have tons of games. We did pick up a copy of Red Orchestra. We might be playing that later this week when we have some more time during the holidays. Seeing as we're neither particularly observant of this one, are we?
Well, there's Festivus that's coming up.
Yes, we're going to get smashed on the drugs of our choice. And outside.
Yes, we need an aluminum pole, and we need the feats of strength.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But anyways, while you're decking your halls, you can also deck your Steam if you're on Ubuntu.
Now this is
or
from
any
Web Update.
Debian-based. Yeah, webupdate.org.
Martin. Ooh, man, you want to take a stab at that last name? Zub.
Oh man, I should. Martin Kozub.
Kozub. All right.
Kozub. But yeah, you can pick your skin and prettify your Steam, and you can get it on any Debian-based system. And this actually came up a while ago, but they have an Arch repository for
look at that.
Arch users.
Update. Arch Linux users can install Steam schematic via Arch. So that's cool. Oh, check it out. And below that, for manual skin installation instructions, And if you still haven't installed Steam Beta Linux, you can do it from there. They could have written this thing in TCL, and I would have been happy. I don't really care how it looks, as long as it plays the damn games, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You know what? Part of me was actually kind of hoping for a curses-based Steam interface, but that's a pipe dream.
Yeah, and just getting games to launch through CLI is a pain in the ass with export variable, but it is possible. Believe it or not.
Indeed. But speaking of getting your Steam, the repository that Tom Calloway, or otherwise known as, Spot, had up on fedorapeople.org has been taken down. Yeah. But you can build the RPM yourself.
Taken down? I think he might have just removed it, but I couldn't find any additional information.
He took it down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually pretty simple. The spec file, which is required to actually build the RPM, is provided for you. So Basically, you download the Debian package, you extract the files from it, and you set up an RPM build tree and run RPM build with the spec file. And you will have a working Steam install for any RPM-based system.
That looks pretty easy peasy, and you'll find that link in our show notes. It's from steamcommunity.com, a good place, a good resource to be checking out, especially if you're looking for handy trips. That's nice. Tricks from the...
Handy tips and tricks.
Trips and trips. That's
Tricks
cool.
and tips.
But that's going to round out our
Steam Analytics update of the week. Eek, eek.
Of the week. So let's get into the news before we get into the games, because we do have a ton of games that came out this week.
Yes, we do. Thanks to our first story. Actually, no, not to our first story.
Not to our first story. Our first story,
but it's tangentially related to our first story.
Yeah, man. Edmund, one of the developers for Super Meat Boy, pretty much laid the smackdown on Canonical, didn't he?
Yes, as it turns out, and this is from a recent Formspring Q&A with Edmund, that apparently the Ubuntu Software Center had Super Meat Boy on their store without permission. And they rejected Binding of Isaac because it wasn't a good fit for the Ubuntu store.
Now, let's be fair. Binding of Isaac is a really shit port.
Is it? I have yet to try it out. I actually played it on Windows, and it's pretty fun. It's another like card game where it's basically another roguelike, but with Legend of Zelda mechanics.
That's cool, but... yeah, they went on with that. The guys over at Gaming on Linux, well, just to kind of flesh this out, they, what Jordan said, Canonical,
they did a sort of post-mortem of this to see what's actually going on.
Yeah, and Liam Dowie over at Linux, or GamingOnLinux.com, tried to break it down exactly what happened with Tommy from Team Meat and Linux. He does go into... these guys have been known to say Linux is rubbish, let's not bother with Linux, and we'll never deal with that. We'll never release source.
No one gets... well, some of the comments were, no one gets the source, I don't care, no... I'm not sure we're allowed to swear on live, but we can in the after show, but... oh man, the source belongs to me, alright? No open source. No way. Linux can F off for all I care.
And I think it's kind of weird. The guy's got some hostility issues.
He does.
That. And it seems like a lot of people are saying, the only reason they ever got a Linux port because they were trying to cash in on that HIB wet stinky cash.
Indeed. Actually, and Bacon, Mr. Bacon,
Bacon's
has a retort.
Well,
on the Google Plus,
his retort is regarding the Super Meat Boy issue. Here's a response from David Pitkin, who runs Ubuntu Software Center, and
he says,
"I just looked into it, and the check to Tommy and Edmund from Canonical is Canonical. I know, brain's done it right. Third time's always the
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio, piss off." In process. Well, the check's in the mail, man. And, alright. It seems like there was some master screw-up, and maybe they should have said something earlier. I don't know if they were holding on to this for some other reason, but, I don't like that Canonical is saying checks in the mail either. They should have picked up on this. This was kind of a...
yeah. I think this is a sort of a dick move on both their parts. I still feel that like this is all PR and this is all stuff that's been in the media. I feel there's a lot we don't know about this.
That's kind of, I didn't want to touch on it too heavily because you 350% right on that. This is we're armchairing, quarterbacking this bit, right?
Yeah, I think before we can have like any real commentary about this, there are too many unknowns. There are too many variables that have not been identified. But the final thing I wanted to bring up about this story was I'm curious now to see, given Team Meat's comments. I'm curious to see what other traditionally Linux negative developers are going to be soon heel face turning and saying, "Oh yeah, we love Linux. We're going to port stuff."
Well, you know, being an indie developer and all that fun stuff, I think comes down to, you know, either you genuinely love Linux and you do it because you love Linux, or you finally start smelling some of that cash and you start seeing other people making money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Then
And there are enough cross-platform frameworks now. Unity is a really good one.
yeah,
I'm a bit concerned that Unity may be the go-to platform for Linux development, for at least for games, and just because it uses a lot of outdated mono stuff, a little bit iffy.
well, I'm sure all that's going to get sorted in short order, especially with Steam backing
In due
that
time.
and all that fun bit. But, you know, we used to have this game that we used to always play, except we only played it twice throughout the entire history of Linux Gamecast Weekly.
Yeah, you made a big deal about it too.
Yes.
Our amigo Senor Larabelle at Phoronix.com has decided to fork over the domain.
Yeah, it looks like Phoronix is, now that Steam for Linux is out, they can no longer sensationalize the stories, and it has, well, I'm not going to say it's killed revenue. That's a bit of a joke. I have no idea what's really going on there. But Laramie has said for some time that he's been planning to get out of the website, which is going to be difficult, in my opinion, because he's the only one who writes anything on the website. There's no writers for Phoronix except him. He does every single thing on there.
Indeed. And it's he says he's going to be working on the open benchmarking suite and whatnot, which I actually had occasion to use recently because I needed to perform some benchmarks. I ended up just running all the software that this thing calls independently because, quite frankly, it's a bit of a mess. But I guess Phoronix was like his main place to publish the results from his tests.
Yeah.
Like that seems to be what a lot of like the original content on his site was just, oh yeah, people sent me hardware, I ran my testing software on there.
It'll be interesting to see what direction. I mean, this is from Phoronix.com, the actual forums of them. Larabelle says, you know, thanks, so I'm not familiar. He is planning on stepping away after a few parties expressed interest in acquiring the site previously. And then a few months ago, a third party became involved. I'm guessing that third party is whoever, but I'm kind of worried that Phoronix.com is up for sale. I mean, there's a buy it now option for like $499,000 for a site that makes.
Hey man, do you have 500K? We could definitely drive up the revenue by using Phoronix.com as an A record for LinuxGameCast.com.
Trust me, that caused me to think about checking my credit to see what we could do. But
yeah,
for a site that only nets 20 grand a year, that is a long return cycle.
Yes.
So, man,
THQ's in the turlet.
yeah, tits up, man, about those Linux ports. This is from MarketWatch.com. THQ files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Shares halted.
It was funny. A friend of mine a while ago was saying, "Oh man, yeah, I should buy like a ton of THQ stock because it's gonna bounce back because they have some pretty good grade A titles coming down the pipe."
I was talking to somebody, man. I said, didn't they made the what was it?
They were publishing the South Park game.
Well, the South Park game, and it wasn't Assassin's Creed. What was the other big game they did? Anyway, I knew it at the time, and they said, THQ sounds familiar. I've never heard of that game. And I said, wrestling. And they go, oh, yeah, right.
Yes.
So apparently
they make all the wrestling games. And they decided they were going to try and push a tablet hardware several months before the Wii U drops. That's just bad news.
Just brilliant. Hopefully somebody will pick up the pieces of those mess, but I don't think we'll be seeing anything from that
hopefully it'll be a Linux positive person who's picking up these guys. And I don't know. Like I said, I still want big floppy purple dildo on my Fedora installation.
Well, yeah, I am big pop. You can't go wrong with it, man. I mean, you just can't. Or can you?
Yeah, but speaking of injections, Han got hacked.
Couldn't have happened to a better lot, could it?
Oh man, they got this is from rootgamer.com. Yeah, they were apparently vulnerable to an SQL injection vulnerability, and they were able to download the password database. So everybody who has a Han account, change your password now.
Or don't. I'm almost positive they're too busy screaming faggot into their headsets at each other to pay attention to any of the news cycles. Huh?
That's true. But for those of you who do like the one MOBA, or I got corrected on this week. It's actually the proper PC term is ARTS, Action Real Time Strategy.
Action Real Time Strategy.
For all you art people or you freaking MOBA players, change your damn Han password before you get hacked.
Yeah, check that out. And like I said, a couple of sources for this. It's been all over the interwebs. So take care of that if you are part of the Han community or New Earth, or basically anything like that. So, what do we got up next, man?
We got that thing that I dread every 6 months. Actually, more like every 2.
Are you saying it's time to get ready to humble?
Yes, Fen.
Let's get ready to humble. We do have Humble
Hib 7 is out.
Hib 7 is not a venereal disease, it's your best friend, unlike venereal diseases, because that made no sense.
Well, my VD is my best friend, but...
Okay, what do we got in this one, man? A couple of new games, right?
Yes, we got, where is this thing?
Dungeon Defenders.
Dungeon Defenders, which is a beat-em-up style tower defense. But you get all the DLC. You get Legend of Grimrock, which is actually the game I've been looking forward to. I have yet to play it on Linux, but it's once we were done recording, I'm going to continue downloading it as we speak. But you get those two if you pay more than the average. You also get Snapshot, Binding of Isaac, Closure, Indie Game the Movie, and Shank 2.
Now,
and I heard there was some issues with Shank 2.
Well, there's a couple of issues with Shank 2, let's just be honest with that. But one thing I do want to point out is that Dungeon Defenders is the first Unreal 3 engine-based game that we've had on Linux, and it beat Unreal 3 to Linux. Yeah,
that's... how did that happen again?
Because F us, that's why. Perfect sense. Logic, right? It's impossible.
Logic.
Yeah, it would too much work to port the U3 engine to Linux. Has been said multiple times. It's just completely impossible, and it was probably done in what, 2-3 weeks?
Probably. The Flibit is pretty quick on the turnaround, even just for one guy.
Yeah, but we do have a few games in there. But you're right. Hang on, before we jump into that, I do want to point out that Shank had a couple of screw-ups, man, with their release, and I got to dig around for that. That's going to be coming up later.
We'll talk about that a bit more in depth.
Let's just roll into what we're at, which is
let's
the actual
games.
And these are going to be some of the games that come with, can you tell we're doing this live? And I have a new thing to switch with on top of everything else. So 50%.
Yeah, we got all one person in the chat room right now. Hi, Nader Vader.
Nader Vader. Hello. Nader Vader. How's it going? Sorry you're watching this experimental train wreck. But out of these games,
anyway,
first one up, Snapshot, right?
Snapshot.
Have you played this?
No, I have not gotten a chance to play any of my new Humble games.
Well, I tinkered around with it. It is what it is. Platform. Everything's a physics platform these days, but take it for what you will. Take it for what you get, because that's all you're going to get, appears to be. Fun, you take a picture. like, all right, so you got something to jump on, but there's a block over here. You got to take a picture of the block, and it saves to, you know, mystery camera, and you run over, then take picture, you know, publish it to that area. Then it becomes, you know, in place B. It's fun. I get it. It reminds me of something you might want to, you know, cock around with on a tablet, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was kind of hard, but we're just going to blow through these humble games, man. And that second one is one you know about, and that's Grimrock.
Legend of Grimrock. So so way back when there was this game that I saw in a box that was really, really cool. Later I found out the game was a complete piece of shit that could actually completely torture your computer if you tried to uninstall it. But I used to beg my dad to buy this game. It was Pools of Radiance, Myths of Draenor. And my dad said, well, here's another box. This one comes with like a bunch of games. Why don't you try them out? And it was the AD&D Gold Box collection, which had a bunch of these games. Like if you ever played them, it's like Pools of Radiance or Eye of the Beholder, where basically it's like a first-person dungeon crawler. And this is what Grimrock is. And it's kind of cool because you basically have like a party of like the fighter, the healer, the wizard, and the thief, and you bop around these dungeons and you kill stuff. And you try and survive. And it looks pretty cool. I've been meaning to play this for a while, and now that I have it on Linux, I'm going to... The neat thing, though, is that it comes with a dungeon editor as well, so you can make your own dungeons and share them. So that should be pretty neat. Speaking of dungeons, though, there's Dungeon Defenders.
Dungeon Defenders?
Which we... Yes, yeah. Dungeon Defenders. Which we mentioned a little while back.
We did mention this. I did have a little chance to play it too, man.
I played a little bit of it with some friends a while ago. It's all right, not my cup of tea. It's a beat 'em up tower defense.
Yeah, I noticed that tower defense, and it's a bit cartoony for me, a bit cutesy.
Indeed, not really my bag, but lots of people seem to like it. So, and now the thing that.
Well, hang on. Let's take some media shots of this. Don't want to completely blow through it.
All right then.
It's pretty.
It's cutesy.
Yeah. It seems like it would take a lot more involvement than I would want to give a game that...
Yes.
It's something... Am I wrong in saying you just couldn't pick this up and lay it down?
From what I understand, there's a bit of grinding you need to do, so that doesn't really appeal to me that much.
Gotcha on that. So we got Closure, and as you called it, it reminds you of Limbo, which, if you remember, was kind of a big snafu way back, wasn't it?
Was it Limbo that had the wine port?
I think it was Limbo. Was it?
I don't recall. It seemed so long ago now. I remember a time back when the grass was greener and and the sky was bluer and penguins marched from Antarctica to try and take over the world. It was a simpler time.
I'm taking a look at the video right now, and it does remind me of Limbo as well. Black and white, very noir.
Yes.
Kind of fun. I never get to the part where you play as anybody other than the little character with multiple legs, because I kind of had to blow through these this week doing the capture for them. Good concept. If you get outside of the light, you fall through the level. So that added... challenging.
Indeed.
I like a new thought.
And do you have like the ability to affect light sources? Can you generate new light sources? Or...
Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, with your multiple orbs, and there's also an adjustable lights in there. So, I mean, you don't get to carry around. There's no torches or anything except for that little ball.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, man. I didn't mind it. But, let's just say we have closure on that topic, because
let's go to the meat of this show.
Yeah,
the bulk of our the hindquarter of our complaints. This is Shank 2.
Something I like to say, Shank 2, situation normal, all effed up. there's always one game, it seems like, with every Humble Bundle now. Last go around, who's now a friend of the show, is one of the guys who ported, the guy who ported Vessel, and he's actually got something to comment back to us at the end of the show. But
yes, which was,
yeah,
I guess I'll bring up that grievance closer to the end of it then. But anyways, continue.
There's always that one game that has some weird and cocked up bit, and for the first 2 days, Shank 2 just didn't work, man. And we can kick over to the forums. No, man. The first release, B8, Beta 8, I'm guessing, was B, unless they want to call it Barbecue 8, which I prefer, Barbecue or Baby. Baby 8 might work, too.
Barbecue Baby's it.
But,
anyways.
it flew out immediately, corrupted file, couldn't decompress it. It was, in fact, missing a file, so there was no way you couldn't fix it, no way to get it done. And it took almost 2 days to get that sorted. Once they got that sorted, you run into the situation.
Another issue reared its ugly head, apparently.
Now check this out. You can't move. You can decompress it. Yeah, well, all right. Here's what you can do. You can pulling out some crazy things.
He, according to the forum post, he can attack.
Yeah.
And he can throw grenades. You can do heavy attacks.
These buttons,
but directional keys no work. And you can't move. You are an unstoppable killing machine to anything within 5 feet in front of you, and afterwards you are kind of screwed.
You have to look at them menacingly. I guess it ultimately is your primary attack.
It rays into their brain,
and it is kind of what they're going to look into it and release a fix. But right now the fix is just to use your keyboard and every boot wipe device joystick as root, so then you can use your keyboard. And I can't imagine playing this game with keyboard, even though I have a Logitech, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 button controller, and it says
there's always something bad about platforming on a keyboard.
Yeah. And even with a 10-button controller, I'm not kidding, man. You don't have enough buttons. There were still things I needed to assign, and I was like, I couldn't imagine doing that.
Like even for like the PS2 style controller, like this one.
Yeah, that's a dual
really.
hat.
Yeah,
man. I mean, this is what I was using. The old-fashioned adamantium.
Ah, yeah. You don't have the little joysticks.
Yeah, I don't have the dual hat, but. Yeah, not enough buttons on this critter for that game, so fuck all if I'm going to be playing it on a keyboard, guys, so get that bit sorted. Wouldn't you say so?
Indeed. But now that we're done Shank, I guess, and for those of you who haven't actually played Shank, it's a beat 'em up. You get guns, you get chainsaws, you kill shit. It's great.
It's a fun game, man. I'm not knocking.
It's fun when it works. Like I played Shank 1. Actually, Shank 1 was available on Humble Bundle, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was just about to say. I mean, the first Shank, flawless, didn't have any issues with it.
But you brought up something about from friend of the show, Flibbijibibibo.
Well, before that, I believe Alanator sent us a note. Aliona's Tales.
Yes, Aliona's Tales for the Motherland.
Yeah, let's see. What did he write here? He said, I found the old Freecraft project has been resurrected in Aliona's Tales. Back in the old days, Freecraft has the only free RTS worth playing. That's a quote, not my typical bad grammar. Take a look at it right quick. It looks simple enough. Have you played anything like this, or...
You know what? I've never been much of an RTS guy, so...
Looks like the tubes is down, so we can't show it to you.
That's funny, because I actually have it up. I have it cached from the pre-show. Though I don't want to peril trying to send you new video.
Yeah, that's cool. You can download it from launchpad.net/tales. But all that
/plus
will be available in our show notes. But as we said, the guy who ported. Well, I guess let's set this up right. We asked a question. Well, actually, you asked a question last week, and what was that question, man?
That question was, why does it take so long to get games released on Humble to Steam? And as I was going to actually tie that into the previous point with Shank to make it a bit more flow friendly, but whatever, it's good. So Ethan Lee, otherwise known as Flibbitijibibo, has said that they upload it to Steam, and then they mark it as Linux friendly, but it also has to clear Steam. So that's why these Humble games are not, that have Linux versions are not automatically available on Steam, which is a bit disappointing. I would kind of hope they clear that before they actually launch the bundle.
You gotta imagine they gotta do some type of QA for it, you know?
Yeah, like why not account that time? And I guess with like 1 or 2 guys porting, you can only go as fast as humanly possible.
Do you hear me, Humble Bundle? That's called Q&A. Quality assurance.
To be fair, most of the people playing these games would love to do QA for this stuff. So
yeah, that's one thing we're at.
For free.
Yeah, look at the Shank forums. I mean, I'm not knocking on you guys, man. Awesome job, but you know the forums jumped with that. It's like, oh, here's some good ideas and here's how to fix it. That's what we're good at in the Linux community, man.
We are not as proactive as we do not lack proactivity as our Windows counterparts do. Well, I guess, you know, to be fair, the Windows guys have done some pretty amazing things hacking games to make them work.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen the 1080p patch for Dark Souls 2?
No, but
for Dark Souls. Prepare to Die edition.
Things for the Ocarina of Time that they've done with patching that ROM with HRT. Yeah.
No, like to be fair, a lot of the guys on the Windows sides given much worse resources and a lot more I guess a lot of the time they actually have to go into the hex code and change stuff manually just because they don't have access to the source code for these things.
Right on. So this is pretty much going to wrap us up, isn't it, man?
Pretty much. You can check us out on our podcast page at Linux.
Yeah, LinuxGameCast.com.
Gamecast/podcast. You can check us out on our RSS feeds for HD and SD video and SD audio, or SHD audio. Or you can check us now at LinuxGameCast or Twitch, LinuxGameCast.com/live.
Yeah,
for the odd time that we're streaming this live.
And don't forget, we do have a YouTube channel and something that we've just released. If you go to our homepage, you'll see the first part of it, called the LGC Linux Gamecast Players. And that is where me, and that's me, and this fine young gentleman here, we go through a game and bicker like an old married Jewish couple, which we kind of are.
Kind of.
In a weird way that doesn't tie to that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But if you are at /podcast, man, check out our Amazon affiliate link. You know, we got the YouTube payments with the subscriptions and our forums, man. Bunch of cool things. Even, you know, before the show starts, we do it a week at a time. So even today, long before the show, we had the updates on building your own RPMs, since the Tom Spot Callaway repo, if you want to call it a repo, was taken down. So give that a look, join in, scream at us. We got some fun stuff in there. Anything else? Are we missing? Oh, we're going to be doing an after show. We'll probably kill the stream for a moment before we come back. But what are we going to be talking about in an after show? The Hobbits.
We're going to be talking about Hobbitses. We're going to be talking about Hobbitses and twists.
Hobbitses in twist.
And I'm sure you folks are going to be quite shocked about it, so stay tuned.
I'm going to spoil the hell out of them, so don't watch that unless you're fully prepared. So let's cue the music. Boom. We'll add that in post. I'm Vin Stone at Vin Stone plus Vin Stone on the G pluses.
I'm Jordan Swung at plus Jordan Swung and at The Burning Fool on the Google Pluses and the Twitters, respectively.
And always check us out on LinuxGameCast.com. And wave at the lovely people, human.
Bye, lovely people. We love you so much. Full of love. Love and love.